In this video, I just want to show you some different routing and grouping options with regards to your tracks in the mix. For example, with this drum track over here, I can see the inputs and I can see the outputs, and I can choose to route it to another track. Maybe I want to take these drums, export them out as audio, and process them further. So I'm going to add an audio track, and I'm just going to call this drums audio. Now, if I go to this track and I say output, I can say the output goes to drums audio. Then I can record arm the drums audio. For the inputs, I can choose the drums machine. It can either be pre or post fader. So let's say pre, and I'm going to record. And as I record, it's going to record those drums to this track. So let's try this out. So there you go. I've got that clip over there. I can play it back. Maybe I want to take this clip and pull it to the drums audio and then go in there and edit that. I can really do that. So that's one way of routing audio. Now, another way is to use the audio receiver. So I'm just going to take these off. And with this, I'm going to add an effect. So with the track selected, I'm going to go and look for the audio receiver. As you can see, it's a Bitwig device here, and I can grab that. Now, what this allows me to do is select an input. So for the input, I want to be the drums machine. It can either be pre or post fader, like I mentioned. So I'll select pre. Now, what this is going to allow me to do is hear those drums. It's coming through this track. If I pull this volume down, I can still hear the drums. So I could add some extra processing onto these drums. So watch this. I'm going to solo these two tracks. And with this, I'm going to add some effects. So let's go to Bitwig device. Let's go to delays, add a second delay. And how about adding another effect after this? So I'll go Bitwig devices, and maybe let's go for the Bit Crush. So now what we've got is the drums coming into this audio receiver being processed by the delays and the Bit Crusher. So that's one way of routing your audio around. But I want to show you something else. So I'm going to turn these off. I want to actually remove this track and have this back to where it was the default level. Now, another thing I want to show you here is the different routing of the drums. So I just want to change the output back to the speakers. And if I play it back, you'll hear that there's a kick, a snare, and a hats. And you can easily route these to individual tracks so you can add extra processing for each of these. Now, if I jump across to the mix view, you can see on these drums here, you've got these two little icons. And if I expand them, now I've got the kick, the snare, and the hats. And I can adjust these levels. Maybe I want the snare to be panned to the left, hats to the right. Maybe some reverb going onto each of these. And I can add extra effects for those particular tracks. So that's how to take a drum machine that's got multiple instruments in it, or multiple clips, should I say, and expand it out and have extra processing available to you there. Now, there's one last thing that I want to show you, and that's how to group similar elements together. So, for example, these three tracks are all drums. So I've got drums machine and drums audio over here, and then there's drums over here. So these are all drums. Now, let's say I wanted to group these together and process them as a whole. For example, like a drum bus. Then I can just select those three tracks, right click on them, and group them together, or use the shortcut Command G or Control G. So now I've got a group containing those drums. I can fold it and unfold it to reveal those tracks. I just want to rename that drums. And now I can add processing onto those drums. So let's say I want to add a bit crush onto that. So let's go for the bit 8. And now this is bit crushing all the drums together. Here was before. There's all those parts. That's very nice. So as you can see, you've got a lot of control of how you can route your things around. So if looking in the mix window here, I've got this drums folder and these drums are all packed in here. And then within that drum machine, I've got those 3 tracks that I can expand. And likewise, you've got extra space here to add extra effects. So that's different audio routing and grouping options that you can use in Bitwig.